didn't say that. They made me. Got it? They made me.
The sound man killed it.
Soda pop?
Mighty good.
Gee whiz! Sorry I'm late. You haven't started without me, have you?
Oh, just the heavy lifting. But don't worry about it. I managed without you.
Okay, I get the point. You don't have to rub it in. I'll finish up.
Good. Put these out.
Golf tees? I thought this show was about corn.
It is.
You don't mean to tell me all of this stuff is related to corn? Golf tees, shirts? Give me a break.
All these things are just a drop in the basket.
Gee whiz!
No. Gee whiz in agriculture. Now, we've got one last thing here made from corn.
There's nothing in here.
Cornstarch is one of the ingredients in this bag. That's one of the great things about using corn to make products. It's good for the environment.
Why?
Because corn is an organic material and it breaks down easily, so we can incorporate it into the soil without harming it. This bag, if you put it in a landfill, is going to rot a lot like a paper bag would. Compare that to a plastic bag. You put this in a landfill and it's going to be in pretty much the same form years from now.
How much longer do products made of corn take to degrade?
Well, let's do a little experiment and see. Got some water here. And we're going to take this packing peanut made with cornstarch and put it in the water to see how fast it degrades.
And the water would represent the rain and the runoff from the garbage in the landfill, right?
Right. Gross, but right. See how fast that degrades? Now, let's do another little experiment with a packing peanut that's not made from cornstarch. You try.
How much longer do you think it'll take?
Well, let's watch and see. Takes a long time, doesn't it?
You're telling me. Hey, if the cornstarch peanut dissolves in the water, won't the shirt do the same thing in the washing machine?
Well, no, because the shirt is made with other things besides cornstarch. All you have to do is follow the directions on the label, just like you would with any other piece of clothing.
Oh, bummer. I was hoping to slip it into the laundry and watch it disappear. That would really freak out my mom.
Yeah, but your question raises an important point about corn as a biodegradable ingredient. Just because something's made with corn doesn't mean it's going to degrade as fast as that peanut did. But the point is, eventually, it will break down. Compare that with plastics, which are going to be with us intact for generations.
Like antiques.
Yeah, and not very valuable antiques at that. All they do now is fill up our landfills.
Well, they do call them landfills. If they weren't filled, then they'd be land empties.
Now that is a corny joke. While I explained to Tracy why we don't want to fill up our landfills, why don't you go visit with the Gee Whiz kids?
Gee Whiz kids! Gee Whiz kids! Gee Whiz kids, want to know?
What's the difference between fake corn and seed corn and sweet corn and popcorn and maize? Why is a joke corny? Where is corn grown in America? Is corn a vegetable? Candy corn is my favorite vegetable. If I've got corn on my toes, that's a vegetable. Ew! Go sit in the corner. Get it? Corner. Why is corn different colors? Who eats blue corn chips? What is ethanol? Do cows eat the same kind of corn as we do? Why do people eat popcorn at the movies? And why does Shrek's the popcorn field? Does all the corn pop?
Gee
me about the landfills, Dr. Kim. If the garbage didn't rot and go back into the ground, where would we put it all?
That's a good question, but it's a whole other show. What are you doing?
Well, this is where those golf tees and the pancake syrups began, so I decided to grow my own corn plant and see the process for myself.
Do you remember the name of the process that plants used to grow?
Photosynthesis.
Right.
Is this going to take as long as a non-corny packing peanut?
Well, not if I give you a hand. Let's see, you've got your soil there. Now we're going to need some sunshine. And then we're going to need some gentle rain. And then we need one more crucial ingredient.
What's that?
You just provided it right there.
What are you talking about?
You did it again.
I didn't do anything.
Sure you did, and so do I. Every time we breathe out carbon dioxide, and plants need that to grow.
That's nice of us.
Right, and then the plant is nice enough to return the favor by giving off oxygen that we need to breathe.
That's a nice system. Is there any way to turn this corn plant off?
Oh, it's the power of nature. Aren't you impressed?
About impressed up against the wall.
Oh, sorry about that.
Where'd my corn plant go?
Well, I had to send it outside. It was getting so big. But Erica's at a big corn-producing farm. We should go see what she's up to.
Hello? Is this thing on? Can you hear me? Get it? It's a joke, all right? I'm here in northern Kentucky with...
Bob Swanky.
I hear you have 500 acres of corn. This corn is really tall. How long ago did you plant it?
Planting corn? This sounds like a job for Captain Cornelius! A corn planting campaign begins in the winter. Growing corn takes nutrient power, so soil samples are collected and analyzed. The results tell the farmer how much lime, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium need to be added to the soil. In the spring, corn is planted with minimum tillage to wipe out soil erosion. A seeder opens the soil and drops each seed at the perfect depth and spacing for maximum grow power. Sunshine and rain make both the corn and weeds grow. Cultivation or spot-sprayed pesticides can eliminate the enemy. And with warm summer temperatures and rain, corn can be 8 feet tall in a matter of weeks. Now that's corn power!
So is this corn ready to pick now?
No, this corn isn't ready to pick yet. It's going to have to mature some more, and it'll probably be another 2 to 3 months before we actually harvest it. We'll shell it, dry it, put it in our grain storage, and then we'll pull it out next winter and haul it to town to the granary. That'd be the final destination, but it's not ready to harvest yet. It's still got some more growing to do.
So is this corn different from what I eat?
This corn here, about 65% of it will be used for livestock, and the other 35% will be used for processed foods like cornflakes.
Okay. So if this is for livestock feed and cornflakes, what type of corn do I eat?
Well, we eat this here. This sweet corn is more what the people like to eat. It's sweeter. It's just a better product to eat for us. That it fits out a lot better on the supper table. But this is what the sweet corn looks like, which is a lot, at this stage in the game, resembles the field corn a whole lot. But later on, this will get larger grains and get coarser. This here is ready to eat right now.
Do you hear something?
I believe I do.
You're gonna think I'm crazy, but it sounds like a battle. And it's all around us.
Watch that. We need some help over here. We got a problem. Somebody help. Somebody call Dr. Heimlich here. Oh, we need some help. Oh, good. He's gone. Now, here, have some more.
Captain, the troops are anxious to go into battle.
I can't bear to watch. Oh, the carnage.
Steady, men. You'll have your chance soon enough. We can't afford to enter this battle until we know exactly what we're dealing with.
Hybrid 3 to Bushel Base.
Bushel Base? Go ahead, Hybrid 3.
Sir, our recon indicates we have an enemy at home in damp conditions. Suggest we deploy our amphibious detachment.
That's just the IPM advantage we needed. Integrated Pest Management.
IPM.
Reduces the amount of chemicals that a farmer uses to battle pests, like insects, fungi, and weeds. IPM provides the farmer with two major weapons. Biological organisms can be deployed on some fronts, while chemical pesticides can be used like smart bombs to destroy specific targets. This saves the farmer money, increases food safety, and reduces the amount of chemical leftovers that can find their way into our soil and water. Just as farmers follow instructions on applying chemical pesticides, there is a process to IPM.
Integrated Pest Management.
It can be used before planting right through to harvest. It works for the home garden as well as for large farms. The key to using IPM is...
Know your enemy.
Exactly! We have to find out when and where those wicked weeds will attack. We have to find out what kind of environment those corn-eating bugs like. Then we send in the troops, who are prepared to fight. Are the troops assembled?
Yes, sir.
For farmers everywhere, onward!
Charge! I'm getting out. I'm looking for the goal right now. Everybody on his own. Oh, no, scram. We gotta get out of here now. This ain't gonna work.
It's nice to know that farmers are careful about what goes on our corn, that they only use what they need to fix the problem.
Well, we try to. We scout the corn. After we plant it, we keep watching the corn, and whatever we need to do to keep it clean and keep it insect-free, we put on. Because my family lives on this farm, and we all work around the corn, and we like to have no more chemicals and herbicides put on than we have to.
Well, that's really great, but I still want to find some corn to eat.
Well, I believe if you go straight on through that cornfield, you'll find it.
You're kidding, right?
No, just take off.
Okay.
On this beautiful day. Beautiful product. Step right up. Don't be shy, sir. Anything I can help you with, just let me know. Ladies and gentlemen, step right up. Don't be shy. What you want to know, we can tell you. Good morning. Step right up. What can we help you with today? We've got your Silver King and Silver Queen. We've got your Golden Cross. We've got your Hickory King. We've got your Silver Bullet.
What's the difference?
Well, all different colors and tastes, just like Sody Pop.
Sody Pop?
You know how cattle and horse breeders sometimes take two different breeds to make a brand new breed to their colts and calves?
Yeah?
Well, we can do the same thing with corn.
How?
Like this.
Any and every living thing can be bred and selected into many different shapes and forms. Why, you ask? Why, to accomplish different goals and perform different jobs, that's why. Same species, different jobs. Same species, different jobs. And just as we can select and breed animals for different jobs and traits, we can do the same thing with plants. Corn, for example, has been selected and bred for different jobs. Same species, different jobs. So if we have one kind of corn, say field corn, and want to make another kind of corn, say sweet corn, how do we do that? A very good question. You're obviously very intelligent. Well, first, you need a plant breeder, frequently called a geneticist. That's right, a geneticist. Second, you need to know that corn plants have about 100,000 genes, and I'm not pulling your leg on that one, but in order to make a new corn plant that's a little different from its parent, you only have to change a few of those genes. All living things have genes made of DNA. The DNA in a corn plant's genes tells the plant what it will look like, how it will grow, and what its chemical composition will be. How'd that plant get those genes? Why, from its parents. Third, you have to know how corn reproduces in order to successfully create a new type of corn. Corn has both male and female flowers on the same plant, but they're in different places. Knowing this, the plant breeder can choose which male flowers to mate with which female flowers and control what offspring will develop. The silks and ears can be covered with a bag, and then the plant breeder can choose which pollen to fertilize the female flower with. And that's what we call plant breeding. So back to the question at hand, and aren't you clever for asking it? If we have field corn and we want to make it sweet corn, how do we do that? Well, the plant breeders find the corn plants with the sweetest, smoothest, creamiest kernels. The kernels people would most like to eat. Then they select those plants and mate them to one another. They do that over and over by breeding these plants to each other generation after generation. They're really selecting the genes for sweetness, smoothness, and creamy texture. Eventually, when you compare the genes from the old parent field corn and the new offspring sweet corn, you'll see that the plants differ in only a couple of their 100,000 genes. The one for sweetness and the one for smooth and creamy texture. And what do we call that? Plant breeding. We can do this same procedure with all kinds of corn. We can select corn to be very high in starch for pharmaceutical production, or very high in oil for human food production, or very high in amylose to make extra crunchy French fries.
In fact, when you have an ear infection, that antibiotic your doctor prescribes for you probably has cornstarch in it. And that cough syrup you take when you got a cold probably got corn syrup in it to make it taste mighty good.
So, corn makes crunchy fried potatoes and fights infections?
Well, in a way, yeah. And to think that it all came from just one kind of corn.
Indian corn.
Indian corn was first grown by the Mayan, Aztec, and Inca Indians of Central and South America more than, hold on to your hat, 7,000 years ago. Let me tell you, these were efficient people. They found many, many uses for this simple plant. In fact, and I'm not blowing smoke here, folks, they used almost every part of it. Don't believe me? Here's what they did. They ate immature corn just like we eat sweet corn today. They ground dried corn into meal to cook with, just like we do today. They used the sugar they found in the leaves. Today, we use that sugar to sweeten candy and soft drinks. They even ate popcorn, just like us. Unfortunately, they never got to enjoy it in a movie theater. They're lost. History tells us that if the Native Americans hadn't taught the Pilgrims how to grow and harvest corn, they might not have survived that first winter in New England. Corn, it's a mighty fine plant.
So, what's it gonna be, little lady?
Do you have any recommendations?
Why, it's all good. We've got your Silver King and your Silver Queen, your Golden Cross, your Hickory King, and your Silver Bullet.
I'll take 6 ears of Golden Cross.
Excellent choice. Let me put that right in there for you. Planted this myself just the other day. This is a wonderful kind of corn, isn't it?
Well, that was really interesting. But I still see how all these products were made of corn.
Well, we don't have time to show how all these different products were made. But trust me, as corn gets processed into meal, starch, oil, and other forms, it gets used in a million different ways.
A million?
Okay, I exaggerated just a little. It's 3,700 and counting.
Gee whiz.
Actually, we're consuming it right now.
Well, duh, we're eating popcorn.
Yeah, but you're drinking it too.
Okay, what's going on here?
Actually, Erica has the buzz on this, or should I say, the fizz.
I'm here at the Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company, and we're about to talk with Eddie Collins about how corn starts the whole soda pop production process.
We get our sugar, corn sugar in on the rail cars, and it comes in pretty cold. It's solid, so we have to hook steam up to warm the sugar back up to the liquid form so we can pump it inside the building here. As you see, it's very cold out here today, and we have to keep our pipes insulated where the sugar comes through also, or it freezes back to a solid form inside the pipes here.
Is corn sugar the same as corn syrup?
Well, that's a tough question to answer. Yes, in some degrees, and no in the other. Corn syrup is used for several different things, you know, to make candy, to make several different things that you see on your store shelves. But we use high fructose 55% here in our soft drinks, which is about 77% solid sugar.
Is this the second step of the process?
Yes, Erica. These are what we call our holding tank or silo tanks, where we pump the sugar in from the rail car, which you saw outside, and we can get 6,000 gallons in each one of these holding tanks.
In this pipe, is it water?
No, that's actually sugar. If you would like, I'll give you a taste of it. Yeah, corn sugar's sweet, ain't it? If you'd like, come on over, we'll show you how we mix the corn sugar and make Pepsi.
Okay.
Are you still hungry after eating all that popcorn?
Corn research, Dr. Kim.
Well, let's see, what have we done with corn so far today? We've planted it, we've fed it to livestock, and we've consumed it ourselves, but there's one more thing we haven't done yet.
What's that?
Burned it.
Dr. Kim, I'm not going to set any cornfields on fire.
Well, neither am I. I'm talking about ethanol.
One of my favorite topics. Follow me! About 100 cities in the United States suffer from unhealthy levels of carbon monoxide and low-level ozone in the air. Much of this pollution comes from the exhaust of fossil fuel-burning automobiles. Using motor fuels blended with ethanol, an alcohol made from corn, can reduce the level of carbon monoxide in automobile exhaust by as much as 25%. Mark Thomas is an expert on ethanol. Mark is not only a farmer, but he's also a champion race car driver who powers his car with corn. Mark, tell us why you're so fired up on ethanol.
Well, this car is a 1999 Dodge Avenger. It weighs 2,200 pounds with me in it. It will go from 0 to 240 miles an hour in 5.8 seconds. It has 3,000 horsepower. And it's kind of hard to imagine this, but we race on a track that is a quarter-mile long, 1,320 foot. So if you could imagine throwing 2,200 pounds, 1,320 foot in 5.8 seconds, it's pretty amazing. It runs on pure ethanol. It uses 6 gallons of ethanol in a quarter mile, which is about 24 gallons to the mile. But you can get there in a hurry. And then it's totally lubricated with corn oil. The engine, the transmission, the rear end, everything on this car is lubricated with biodegradable, edible, low cholesterol corn oil.
Part of Mark's job is clearing up the confusion over methanol and ethanol.
Methanol was very corrosive and very, very hard on a lot of your rubber and your internal parts, where ethanol is very parts friendly, if you will. It does not harm or hurt or deteriorate anything. And so when you look back, and a lot of people say, I'll never use that. My dad said, my mechanic said, and it's just kind of a fallacy. Every car manufacturer in the world recommends the use of ethanol enhanced gas. So don't ever let any of that alter your thoughts. This is definitely a good fuel that's good for all of us. It's just something that we all need to take a stand on and do this just for the good of all of us.
Ethanol is made by fermenting and refining the sugars and starches in dent corn kernels. Yeast and other natural microorganisms convert sugars and starches into alcohol through a process known as fermentation. Ethanol is added to fossil fuels because it contains almost twice as much oxygen as other additives. The extra oxygen means cars give off less exhaust, and it's good for the country, too.
When you can come up with something that, one, is renewable, that means we can grow it here in the fields. We don't have to rely on foreign countries to produce it. It's not harmful because it is a biodegradable, natural oil. It's something that does not hurt the environment. So it has so many good capabilities, properties, that it's just kind of a no-brainer. Why don't we do more of this?
You said it, Mark. Corn makes everyone a winner. That's why my motto is, now is the hour for corn power!
What's the matter?
Too much research. I think I have a sugar headache.
Well, here, try a couple of these aspirin.
You know what? I don't think I'll ever eat another thing made out of corn again.
Well, then you might not want to read the label on that too closely.
Dr. Kim, I'm amazed. It seems that all of our experts have talked about how corn is so environmentally friendly. It seems that no part of it is wasted.
That's right. Even after we go through the field and harvest the grain for human consumption, what's left can be fed to livestock. Do you know what's in that bushel basket?
Is this another trick question?
No, not really. By the time corn processors get finished with that 1 bushel of corn, we'll have 31 pounds of starch, or 33 pounds of sweetener, or 2.5 gallons of ethanol, and 11 pounds of protein feed for livestock, about 3 pounds of cornmeal, and about 1 pound of corn oil.
Well, that's amazing.
Oh no, here we go with the corny jokes again.
Well, now I know the ethanol segment really ignited my imagination.
Aw shucks, Tracy, you're driving me nuts.
I can't hear you.
Oh, stop. Really, we have some important business to do. We've got to thank our guests, like Mr. Robert Swinky,
Mr. Mark Thomas,
the Pepsi Company.
Gee whiz, that's a lot of people.
No, it's
Gee whiz in agriculture.